It's tough. I mean, but there's a lot of stuff that reminds me of her. You know, in like relationships, like you see something on TV and you're like, oh, I remember when we used to watch this.
It starts with a song, but it lands like a direct hit. After years of silence, hidden clues, and social media drama, Selena Gomez has finally spoken in the way she always has best. Not through interviews or posts, but through her music. And this time, it's not another sweet love song. It feels sharper, more deliberate, like a quiet storm that builds beneath the surface. Her new track, Don't Take It Personally, sounds calm at first, but there's power behind every word. The moment it was released, the internet didn't just react. It exploded. For years, fans have watched the supposed tension between Selena and Hailey Bieber unfold like a never-ending mystery. People compared their outfits, their styles, their social media posts, and even their timelines. Edits and theories filled TikTok and Twitter, with fans convinced there was more going on than either of them ever admitted. But now it seems Selena has said what she's been holding back for years, that she's seen everything and is done pretending otherwise. The lyrics are direct and honest, yet delivered in that calm, steady way that only Selena can pull off. I know the two of you used to talk every day, she sings. You probably got a dartboard with my face in the middle. There's no guessing who she could mean. The message is crystal clear. TikTok blew up with reaction videos within hours, and Twitter turned into chaos. People started breaking down every lyric, saving clips as if they were evidence. To many, this felt like her final word. Not just about Justin Bieber, but about the complicated silence between her and Hailey that fans have obsessed over for years. The song appears near the end of her new album, almost like a closing statement, a way to say her piece and then walk away. But right when people thought they had it figured out, Selena added a twist. During her album commentary, she claimed Don't Take It Personally wasn't about her at all. She said it was inspired by someone else's story, something she simply connected to emotionally and turned into art. Still, fans weren't convinced. The emotion in her voice, the timing, the tone, everything about it felt too real to be just a story. So naturally, everyone started asking the same thing. What's true here? Is this really someone else's story, or is Selena just trying to protect herself from another media storm? No one can say for sure, but one thing's clear. The track has reopened every old wound. The fan theories, the comparisons, the emotional posts, all of it came flooding back. Now people are wondering, was this just coincidence? Or did Selena finally confirm what so many have believed all along? On March 21st, 2025, Selena dropped her fourth studio album, I Said I Love You First, which she created alongside her fiancé, Benny Blanco. The project was meant to celebrate love, healing, and growth. 14 songs full of warmth and hope. It featured artists like Gracie Abrams, J Balvin, and Charlie XCX, and it was an instant success. The album hit #2 on the Billboard 200, top charts worldwide, and placed multiple tracks on the Hot 100. But among all the upbeat songs and romantic melodies, one track stood out. Don't Take It Personally wasn't polished or radio-friendly. It wasn't even promoted much. No flashy video, no teaser campaign. Yet the moment it dropped on streaming platforms, it took over the internet. It didn't just feel like a song. It felt like a statement. Fans immediately started dissecting every lyric. Whole threads and TikToks were dedicated to analyzing the meaning behind each line. One lyric in particular drew massive attention. He sleeps in my bed. I met his parents. It's official. Just that one line seemed to carry years of history and emotion. But the chorus hit even harder. Please don't take it personally. Some things are just meant to be. Don't waste all your energy. We both know that he loves me. It wasn't bitter or vengeful. It sounded calm, even gentle, which somehow made it hurt more. It was like she wasn't trying to fight anymore because she already knew the ending. Fans immediately started connecting the dots. Was this the final chapter of the Selena-Justin-Hailey triangle? Was Selena saying that the real conflict was never between her and Hailey? That Justin's decision had already written the ending years ago? Theories spread like wildfire. But in typical Selena fashion, instead of clearing things up, she added more mystery. During her album commentary, she repeated that the song wasn't personal, saying it came from a story someone once shared with her. Then, she dropped a line that made everyone question everything again. This is odd to say, but yes, I'm the person it happened to. That one sentence sent fans spiraling. If it wasn't about Hailey, why did it sound so much like it was? If it wasn't meant for the public, why did the lyrics feel so pointed? And if Selena has really moved on, why does the song sound like a final message? Calm, but final, to the person she's been endlessly compared to. It's that mix of truth and denial, of openness and mystery, that keeps people obsessed. The tension between what Selena says and what her music seems to reveal is exactly what keeps fans guessing and listening. The beauty of it is that you can't quite tell where honesty ends and storytelling begins. To really understand why Don't Take It Personally caused such a storm, you have to go back to where all of this began. Selena and Justin Bieber weren't just a couple, they were a pop culture moment. Their relationship defined an entire era, full of passion, heartbreak, and constant attention. From that first IHOP date in 2010 to their glamorous red carpet appearances, emotional breakups, and hopeful reunions, Every chapter of their love story played out in public. Fans grew up watching it unfold like a movie, one that felt too real to ever end. But in 2018, after years of on and off moments, everything changed. Justin ended up getting engaged to Hailey within months of his final split with Selena. Their courthouse wedding later turned into a lavish ceremony, marking the end of a love story millions had rooted for. Yet, the internet never let go. Fans kept digging into old clips, dissecting song lyrics, and revisiting every public appearance, searching for hidden meanings and emotional leftovers. And now, with Don't Take It Personally, it feels like Selena lit that spark again. Not out of spite, but out of closure. To some listeners, the song feels like her way of saying goodbye one last time. Not bitterly, but with peace. Like she's saying, it happened, I've accepted it, and I'm moving on. To others, though, it sounds like a quiet confession, a message meant for someone who will understand exactly what she means. Whatever side you take, one thing is certain. This song has reopened a story that the world never really stopped caring about. It's not just about three people anymore. It's about a shared history that shaped pop culture, fandoms, and how millions view love and heartbreak. And now, once again, everyone's listening, wondering what's real, what's performance, and what's finally being said after all these years of silence. For years, fans have questioned the timing of everything, the overlaps, the silence, and how quickly things changed. When Hailey Bieber suddenly appeared as Mrs. Bieber, it wasn't just unexpected, it sent shockwaves through pop culture. What followed was a non-stop cycle of rumors, comparisons, and theories. Some of it was playful, some was mean-spirited, but it never stopped. Through it all, Selena Gomez mostly kept quiet, until she finally chose not to. When she released Lose You to Love Me in 2019, it felt like her first real moment of closure. The song was raw and deeply emotional, and fans instantly connected it to Justin Bieber. It revealed the heartbreak she had carried quietly for years. One lyric in particular stood out: "In 2 months, you replaced us like it was easy." Listeners couldn't ignore how closely that line mirrored real events. Justin's fast engagement to Hailey not long after ending things with Selena, but Don't Take It Personally feels different. This isn't a song about heartbreak or pain. It feels calm, controlled, and confident, like the words of someone who has already healed and moved on. Even where it sits on the album seems intentional. It comes right before the final track, as if Selena wanted to speak her last words about the past before turning the page for good. She's not denying what happened. She's acknowledging it and letting it go. The song doesn't name anyone directly, but it hints at everything: the jealousy, the unspoken tension, and the complicated history shared by all three people involved. Selena doesn't scream it. She says it softly, in a way that still cuts deep. Once Don't Take It Personally hit streaming platforms, social media went into overdrive. TikTok filled up with fan theories, lyric breakdowns, and emotional reactions. People compared each line to real-life events involving Hailey and Justin. Fan accounts mixed lyrics with old photos, interviews, and red carpet clips, creating timelines to prove what the song was about. One lyric especially stood out: "You probably got a dartboard with my face right in the middle." That line alone sparked a frenzy online. It wasn't poetic or abstract, and it was pointed and deeply personal, yet delivered with a calmness that made it even more powerful. Then came the chorus, simple but sharp: "Please don't take it personally. We both know that he loves me." There was no anger, no bitterness, just quiet finality. For many listeners, that was the moment it clicked. This wasn't a plea or a jab, it was closure. While fans saw it as Selena reclaiming her story, critics were divided. Some praised the song's maturity and its subtle emotional strength. Others called it petty, suggesting she was hiding old feelings beneath polished production. Reviews from major outlets like Pitchfork described the album as scattered and too self-referential, saying Selena was still trying to find her musical focus. But online, none of that mattered. To fans, Don't Take It Personally wasn't about perfection. It was about honesty. It was the song they had been waiting for, one that finally voiced everything left unsaid. And Selena's insistence that the story wasn't about her only fueled curiosity. She said it was inspired by someone else's experience, but fans didn't buy it. The lyrics felt too close to her own life, too specific to be a coincidence. That's when the conversation shifted again, back to the old claims that had surrounded Hailey Bieber for years. Fans began revisiting the theory that Hailey hadn't just dated Justin, but had somehow mirrored Selena, intentionally or not. Old tweets resurfaced. Side-by-side comparisons flooded social media. Similar outfits, identical tattoos, nearly matching captions. Clips from interviews and photos from public events were pieced together as supposed proof. One detail alone might have meant nothing, but when lined up together, fans thought it formed a pattern too clear to ignore. Both women had tried to calm things down in the past. They publicly denied any feud, even urging fans to stop spreading hate. They posed for a photo together in 2022 to prove there was no bad blood, but the more they asked for peace, the louder the internet got. The story had grown too big to contain. Every silence only made people more curious. Don't Take It Personally didn't start the fire, but it certainly kept it alive. To understand how deep this obsession runs, you have to go back to the beginning, not just to Selena and Justin's relationship, but to the fandom that built a mythology around them. Selena and Justin weren't simply a young couple in love. They were an era. Their relationship shaped a generation's idea of romance, heartbreak, and hope. From that first public date at IHOP in 2010 to nearly a decade of breakups, reunions, and emotional songs, their story became public property. Every lyric, every post, every red carpet glance was turned into evidence by fans who followed every twist in real time. So, when Justin proposed to Hailey Baldwin in 2018, only a few months after his last breakup with Selena, fans didn't see it as a new love story. To many, it felt like a stolen ending, as if someone had rewritten the narrative before the original story was finished. What followed were years of polite distance that hid an obvious tension. Hailey married Justin and built a life with him. But the ghost of Jelena, the fan nickname for Justin and Selena, never really disappeared. Every new song Selena released reignited speculation. Every photo Hailey posted was dissected and compared. The rivalry wasn't being fueled by the women themselves anymore. It was being carried on by millions of fans who couldn't let the story die. Comparisons became endless. Their looks, their outfits, their social media posts, even their gestures were put side by side. Entire TikTok accounts were dedicated to pointing out similarities, with some creators claiming Hailey had been copying Selena's style and behavior for over a decade. From cooking shows to interviews, tattoos to catchphrases, everything became part of an ongoing theory. It was obsessive, yet it spread fast, reaching millions of viewers who treated it like digital detective work. But eventually, things took a darker turn. It wasn't just harmless gossip anymore. It became what many call parasocial warfare. Fans weren't just observing celebrities. They were fighting imaginary battles on their behalf. They defended, attacked, and analyzed everything. A single like, a shared quote, or an unfollow could ignite chaos. Every coincidence became a clue. Every silence became suspicious. If Hailey followed and then unfollowed a Selena fan page, it became a headline. If both women wore similar white dresses, fans accused one of copying the other. Online, even the smallest gestures turned into entire theories backed by screenshots and timestamps. So when Don't Take It Personally dropped, it didn't create this obsession. It simply confirmed it for those who already believed. To them, this song wasn't art, it was evidence. It validated what they had been saying for years. But behind all the noise lies something far less dramatic: exhaustion. Both Selena Gomez and Hailey Bieber have repeatedly asked their fans to stop the hate. They've spoken out publicly, sometimes even tearfully, asking people to let it go. And their words don't sound rehearsed or strategic anymore. They sound tired. They sound like two people who just want peace, caught in a story the world refuses to stop telling. In March 2023, social media once again erupted with rumors about Selena Gomez and Hailey Bieber. What began as something small, just a few photos about eyebrows, turned into a full-blown internet storm that fans dubbed Eyebrowgate. Within hours of each other, both women posted something related to their eyebrows, and fans instantly assumed it was shade. Theories spread like wildfire. Memes, breakdown videos, and dramatic TikToks filled every corner of the internet. And when it finally started to quiet down, Selena had clearly had enough. She took to social media and announced that she was stepping back. "I'm too old for this," she wrote. Not in anger, but in exhaustion. You could feel the weariness behind those words, the kind that comes from years of being pulled into endless online drama she never asked for. It wasn't just frustration. It was fatigue from being misunderstood, analyzed, and picked apart by strangers. A few weeks later, Selena returned, not to throw shade or respond to the noise, but to remind people to be kind. "My heart has been heavy," she posted. "Please be kinder and consider others' mental health. I only want good for everyone." Her words were simple, but they carried weight. Soon, people understood why she said them. Around that time, Selena revealed that Hailey had reached out to her privately. Hailey told her she had been receiving death threats. Not just hateful comments, but real threats to her safety. Without hesitation, Selena defended her publicly. "No one should have to experience hate or bullying," she wrote. With that one post, everything shifted. The years-long feud fans had been fueling started to look different, less like a real rivalry, and more like a story the internet refused to let go of. It became clear that this wasn't Selena versus Hailey. It was the internet versus reality. But Hailey, too, had reached her breaking point. In March 2025, she posted a short TikTok that cut through all the noise. "Leave me alone," she said. "At this point, I'm minding my business. Be miserable somewhere else, please." It wasn't scripted or dramatic. It sounded raw, tired, and heartbreakingly human. After years of being dissected and judged, her tone didn't come from anger. It came from exhaustion. For so long, Hailey had been painted as either the villain or the imitator. Every move she made, every outfit, interview, or hairstyle was compared to Selena's. People turned her entire life into side-by-side photos and timelines, claiming proof that she was copying. But the truth was far darker than fan drama. It was emotional exhaustion. the kind that comes from living under a microscope where silence never protects you. Both Selena and Hailey have begged for the chaos to stop, not because they have secrets to hide, but because the narrative has become toxic. Yet, no matter how many times they've asked for peace, the speculation keeps coming. Online detectives continue to comb through old lyrics, posts, and photos like they're solving a mystery. But there is no mystery. Just two women trying to live their lives while being treated like characters in a show that never ends. What started as gossip has turned into an obsession. Entire TikTok accounts and YouTube channels are now dedicated to comparing the two women. Some claim Hailey copies Selena's style, gestures, or even her cooking show. Others point to tattoos, like the small G behind Hailey's ear, and say it mimics the one Selena got for her sister Gracie. Every photo, every caption, every outfit becomes evidence. And when everything is treated as evidence, coincidence stops existing. The most extreme theories go even further. Some online creators insist that Hailey spent years positioning herself near Justin Bieber, using old fan photos, interviews, and clips from events to prove she was trying to become part of his world. Videos claiming she was stalking Justin or trying to become Selena have gathered millions of views. None of these theories are based on facts. They spread because they feed the internet's love for drama and conflict. Lost in all of this is the humanity. Yes, Hailey once supported Justin and Selena as a fan. Many people did. Yes, their paths have crossed in complicated ways, but that doesn't make her obsessed or manipulative. People can share similar interests, listen to the same music, or love the same person without it meaning something sinister. Sometimes lives overlap. Sometimes those overlaps are just coincidences. But the internet doesn't like coincidence, it likes stories. So it turns small details into grand conspiracies, and in doing so, it erases the real people behind them. Sometimes lives overlap. Sometimes those overlaps are just coincidences. But the internet doesn't like coincidence, it likes stories. So it turns small details into grand conspiracies, and in doing so, it erases the real people behind them. This was never truly a love triangle. What we're witnessing is a mirror reflecting the extremes of parasocial culture, the way fans form one-sided attachments to celebrities and start treating them like friends, enemies, or characters in their own lives. The line between admiration and obsession has vanished. People who say they support Selena or Hailey end up invading their privacy, monitoring their actions, and interpreting everything as part of a bigger drama. And that's the cruel irony. The same people accusing Hailey of being obsessed with Selena are often the ones tracking her every move, collecting her photos, and creating endless comparisons. They call her a copycat, yet they're the ones cataloging every detail of her life next to Selena's. One viral Reddit comment summed it up perfectly. The obsession is coming from inside the house. And that might be the truest thing anyone said about this situation. When you strip away the gossip, the edits, and the endless speculation, what remains are two women simply trying to live. One is married, one is engaged. Both are growing, working, and healing from wounds the world rarely sees. Yet they're still trapped in a story that fans refuse to let end. A story built from fragments of truth, stretched across a decade of rumors. Maybe that's what Selena really meant when she said, "Don't take it personally." It wasn't a jab and it wasn't sarcasm. It was a boundary. A way of saying, "This isn't my burden anymore." It was her quiet decision to stop explaining herself and let the noise go on without her. Selena has already said what she needed to say. Not to win, not to prove anything, but to finally let go. Her words aren't about anger or revenge, they're about peace. About setting down the story that's followed her for too long and choosing freedom over explanation. And maybe the kindest thing anyone can do now, fans, followers, even the media, is to let both women breathe. Let them exist as individuals, not reflections of each other. Let them move on from the decade-long saga that the internet keeps rewriting. Because at this point, the real story isn't about who copied whom or who said what. It's about how easily we turn real people's pain into entertainment, how quick we are to turn empathy into content. If this entire saga has taught anything, it's that sometimes the most powerful act of kindness isn't defending your favorite celebrity. It's knowing when to stop watching. Stop speculating and finally let them both move on.